Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Spinosarus Roars, the video series that I will post an episode to each month, where I will answer up to 10 of your questions submitted in my Discord server. Let's get started. So a couple things I want to clear up really quick. I said 5 to 10 questions, but I was trying to be conservative with how many I tasked myself to do, so we'll just see how it goes, how many of them I can get through in, say, about 10 minutes. So, moving right on from that, the first question for this episode is from CC. What is your favorite official module? Well, of course, that's going to have to be the F-14 Tomcat. In particular, the F-14B. Really love that aircraft. And have ever since I saw the movie Top Gun. That movie, by the way, is still actually my favorite movie, although I cringe to watch it now at some of the things that are just completely unrealistic in it. So the next question is, what is your favorite community mod? Also by CC. Well, right now, I think, at least, there's so many good ones to pick from. Of course, the MB339, very nice community mod. A39 Super Tucano as well, the Gripen mod, of course, and the helicopter mods. But right now, I think my favorite community mod is the UH-1M Huey Hog gunship, just because it does basically everything that the old AH-6 module or mod did, but does it better. It's more full fidelity, it has much better textures, there's no cockpit issues really, or anything like that, and it delivers a UH-1H-esque experience for free. I mean, how can you go wrong with that if you're into helicopters? So the next question is also from CC, and it is, how do I find your server? Well, I'm assuming you're talking about a DCS World server, because at least at the time of uploading this video, CC is a member of my Discord server. Well, the answer is I don't actually have a regular DCS World server. I rarely ever actually make one. And when I do, I just have my own computer hosting it. And honestly, I don't do it very often because there's not really a whole lot of point. I don't have very many people to really play DCS with. I find myself a lot playing the AI because that's all that I can line up. It's just the way things work at the moment, so there is no Spino Simulations DCS World server at this time. Hopefully there will be in the future, but that remains to be seen. Alright, so question number 4 is from Anakin062. What got you into aviation, and what advice do you give to people starting in DCS? Well, I don't really have an answer for the first part of that one, honestly, because I've been interested in aviation as long as I can remember, so I don't remember any one specific thing that got me interested. I was probably just little, saw an airplane, and decided that I liked it or something like that, but it's been a minute, we'll just put it that way. So as to what advice I would give to people starting in DCS, well, it's going to depend a little bit as far as what module to get first. It's going to vary from person to person depending on what their particular interests are, of course, but just in general, don't be afraid of the learning curve in DCS. Give it time, give yourself time to actually get into it and learn how to use it, because it is very, very realistic, and it will be very, very rewarding once you do actually get the hang of it. And it doesn't necessarily take as long as people might think, especially if you're trying to learn an aircraft that you really want to learn. For me, in particular, my first DCS module is, of course, my favorite one, the Heatblur F-14 Tomcat, and I got that because I wanted to learn to fly the F-14. Of course, it's my favorite aircraft. I'm going to be really interested in it, and that alone made it easier for me to get into DCS in particular, because the Tomcat is, well, it is a quirky airplane. We'll just put it that way. It's not, it doesn't do the flying for you like, for example, the Hornet. Some people prefer planes that kind of take care of your mistakes for you like the Hornet does, but not me, not as far as the Tomcat is concerned. It was more than worth it. So whatever you do, pick a plane that, or helicopter, that you think you'll enjoy. If you've never flown a helicopter before, I would highly recommend that you install one of the free helicopter mods and check that out before you spend any money on a helicopter mod, because helicopters are not easy to fly by any stretch of the imagination. So that's pretty much my advice to people starting in DCS. Moving on to the next question, which is from CC again. He gave me a lot of these. What HOTAS do you use, and do you use pedals? Well, I don't use pedals, and I don't actually have a HOTAS at the moment. I do have something that's, well, it's kind of like half a HOTAS. I currently use a VKB Gladiator NXT, which is kind of like half a HOTAS. It's the stick part, basically. And it's a really good stick. I intend to, at some point, do a full video review on it. But I've been using that for a while now, and with this channel being focused on flight simming on a budget, the VKB was definitely kind of a big ticket item at around 150 US dollars. So I use that, and then I also use a homemade control box that gives me a few more buttons and switches to play around with, and right now it's still a work in progress, but at least it's there to give me a little bit more to assign for all the different things that you have available to you in DCS, all the different controls and everything like that. Anyone who's done anything serious with DCS knows exactly what I'm talking about, and how you can never have enough buttons or switches. So another question that wasn't specifically asked in the Discord, but it's one that I get a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and address it here, is where I get my footage of aircraft like the F-8 Crusader from. If you remember back to my video where I discussed the upcoming F-8 Crusader module by Leatherneck Simulations, I believe they've renamed themselves something else now, but anyway, in that video I had some footage of the F-8 Crusader that was quite obviously CGI, but it also was quite obviously not DCS, and that was actually from a flight simulator called Strike Fighters 2. It's really more of a game than a simulator per se. It's a very light simulator. It's not very realistic. I mean, it does have all of the basic components of a realistic simulator, but the controls and the weapon systems and all that kind of stuff are very, very simplified in Strike Fighters 2, and of course it is also an older title, but it's actually what I cut my teeth on when I was getting into combat flight simulations. This was the first modern flight simulator sort of thing that I had ever played. Fortunately, I only managed to cover 6 questions because, well, life's been hectic right now, but anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.